Give it one more minute because someone hopped out that was in. All right, so I think we pretty much got everybody that is in. So, hi parents, welcome. A lot of you I've either have had a conversation with before or coached your daughter over the past few years, which this is the really exciting part where we get to invite you guys to typically it would be a summer camp, but this year it's um, practice. So, an introductory to our competitive team where you would pretty much join for a tryout. Your daughter will pretty much practice for 2 months, which is June and July. I already see a hand up. Let's see. India, did you want to ask a question? Not sure if that was on accident, the raised hand. Let's see. Okay, now I see the question. You don't hear anything. Can anybody else hear? It might be in your settings. You might have just opened up Zoom and you have to allow, I guess, the sound. I don't really know the specific term for the settings. Let's see. Sorry, I think someone's having technical difficulties, but I'll still go ahead. So, like I was saying, you guys are invited to practice for the next 2 months, which would include June and July. And for most of you, your practice schedule, let's see if I can pull it up. Your practice schedule will consist of Monday 1 to 4, Tuesday 9 to 12, and Thursdays 9 to 12. If that is any different, we will let you know. There, of course, are sometimes possibilities where your daughters might be a different level than what they are. Um, right now, that might change between the end of silver, or if we've had a separate conversation with you about your child, that will be the case. But those practices from June and July are really important. One, to kind of see where your gymnast will need to go if they do make the competitive team. And it's the bulk of the time where they can be exposed to the gym and not have anyone else in the gym. So it's a great time, one, for the coaches to get to know the girls to get to know the coaches, and them to get to truly know if they really like gymnastics. So, and this Zoom meeting is also an opportunity for you to ask all the questions that you want, because some of you guys have had this talk maybe years past, a year ago, before things shut down when it came to, where your daughter was based on her level. If not, if this is your first time, welcome. But again, this is kind of your time to ask the questions of what happens next with your daughter, which, like I said, is that practice to possibly make the competitive team. So, does anyone have any questions?
Of the levels that we're looking at, what level is the competitive team? I guess is my question.
So, all of them are competitive levels. The level that your child will most likely start at, Excel Bronze, pretty much consists of our 3 home meets. So you've probably seen us advertise those meets. We've got Tumble versus Weeds. We've got Donna Stewart Invitational, and we also have 65 Roses Invitational. Those 3, I think this year, you at least saw us advertise for Zoom. If not over the past few years, you've seen us advertise to come see, come visit. But those are the 3 meets that if your daughter makes Excel Bronze, that they will compete in. When you get up to higher levels, you do more meets, more of a chance of doing an away meet. And of course, different teams, different atmospheres when it comes to that. Did anyone else have any questions?
Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah.
Hi,
What are
my
the
name is Layla Constable. I'm the gymnastics coordinator for the city of College Park. I I've had a lot of questions in the gym during drop off. People get confused a little bit because your child is in Excel Bronze. Excuse me, in Bronze now, or she might be in Silver now. So there is a difference, like Tamara was saying. When you join the competitive team, it's completely different. It's actually a program called Excel Bronze and a program called Excel Silver, and then it goes Excel Gold. But the difference is when you're in classes, it's just called Bronze Silver. It's novice, bronze, and silver. In competitive, when you join the team and your child makes a level, you'll see the word Excel in front of it. Is there any more questions?
Let's see.
We like to do this meeting so we can get you guys prepared for what's to come. Some of you might just want to do classes, and I know some of you also have goals of doing this route, joining a competitive team and having your girls be a part of a amazing gymnastics team that we've had for many, many, many years. And being on team is fun. It's exciting. You get to meet new people. You start forming bonds with people you've never met with because your child is on the same team. So it's a really good experience. I know a fun fact about the tumbleweeds and this gymnastics program is that almost every coach in here who coaches now was a former tumbleweed. And that's the type of kind of bond that this program builds with these girls. So, and gymnastics, of course, is a wonderful base sport for everything. But, we do get this question too. If you don't do the team, where do you go from here? So if you don't do the team, you would go back to silver or go to silver, and that was where you will remain. But you received the invite because we felt that your daughter had the potential to, at her skill level or at her work ethic or at her strength effort, would be a good potential teammate, because it is next level gymnastics, and it'll just continue to be next level. The more they do, the more they practice and are in the program. So yeah, give me your questions. I know y'all have some.
I think Mr. Brown is raising his hand.
Hey, Coach T, can you hear me?
Yes.
I just had a couple questions. Of those, the skill levels and the breakdown, like how many kids will be in each one of those classes, like in the classroom or in the gym a day? Is it broken up in groups of like 5 or 10, or is there a cap, or what were you guys' thoughts on that?
I could answer that. So currently right now, our largest number that we have 5 levels currently on the team, and our largest is 11 or 12. So they do, normally, of course, we would have camp where they would all be in here at the same time. But this year, we want to keep them spaced out just till we get through this, pandemic. But there's normally, training team can tend to have more, but we never know until, you know, people actually make the full commitment. You know, you might start out, we might start out 30 strong in training, in Excel bronze. And then when it's time to say, you know, are you really fully committing? It might drop down to 20 or, you know, 12. So it just depends really.
Okay, and thank you. And the second question I had is, if they sign up for like Excel Bronze, for example, are they required to be at every session, or is it just, you know, try to make as many sessions as possible, or what's the flexibility like on the schedule? And
So are you talking about summer training practice this summer?
Yes.
Okay, so summer training is really important. One, they're about to transition their gymnastics tremendously. You may have a child who has never, this was her first time in the program, but we spotted her in classes and said, wow, she would be a really good team member. So she might go from novice to training team. However, when you get to team, it's different. You're learning so much at a time, and the pace is a lot faster, that it's good if they're here all the 8 weeks, but we understand you have a life and you want to take a summer. So individually, if you have things planned, it's best to get with Coach Ashley, who's the head coach for the Tumbleweeds, and say, you know, I'll be here. You know, we usually travel these weeks, but we can make it for these weeks. So there is some flexibility. Of course, best case scenario is that you're here all 8 weeks, but we do have some flexibility.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Miss Crawley raised her hand.
Okay.
Yes, my question is for this, will we be able to see the kids practice?
Unfortunately, not right now. And those are just the rules of the facility.
Okay. Do y'all know when parents will be able to start seeing the children practice?
That's a good question. I will find out. And you guys have another meeting scheduled for, I believe, April 12th. We could come up with something then. And then I also want to let you know too, typically, you know, you've been in classes, so, and everything was normal when you were in classes prior to COVID. And so class parents would come in if they wanted, and they would sit in the bleachers, would watch their kids. Team is a little different. Parents normally don't stay anyway. And pick their kids up when practice is over. But we don't mind, you know, if you want to stay and watch. We also know that kids perform a lot differently in front of their kids, in front of their parents too. So, but we don't mind when things get back to normal, if you want to stay for a practice or see how a practice runs and stuff like that. But I'll have a date for you. Just give me some time.
And my last question is there a way that we could just pay up front instead of monthly?
Sure.
If our kids get accepted?
Yes. Yes.
When it comes to all payment plans, if you need to do something that's different than what we have lined out, we have a wonderful person on staff whose name is Tanya LaPonte. She is great with getting with the parents and working with, you know, whatever payment schedule that you need, as long as everything is paid on time. That's really, you know, the key point, because a lot of it is that, for example, your child might have a meet and excuse me, in like the lineup of the payments, the meat is somewhere in that, but it's pretty much broken down to where everything is paid when it needs to be paid. But if you would like to do something different, Tanya is more than willing to help. And just if I didn't preface this before, this meeting is more of to help you get introduced to everything, because a lot of the parents we don't get to have a conversation with about what comes next as far as the competitive team. And that next meeting is diving a little bit more into what the competitive team is, and starting for summer, going ahead and signing that paperwork and filling out that paperwork. And I think we just got another question. Are we not allowed to view competition meets either? So when it comes to dealing with COVID and the competition meets, right now, a lot of gyms are allowing up to 2 parents. If it's a bigger space, they are allowing full family. So you might be able to have 4, maybe 5 people if it's like a arena built space. But for our home meets, we are only allowing 2 parents, and that includes the working parent. And that also kind of leads into another conversation. What is a working parent? Typically, when we have our home meets, the parents are required to pretty much help us make it happen. So you're not required to work all day, but depending on which committee you sign up for, you can divide it amongst your group. So say it's a group of 6 parents and we've got 3 sessions that day. 2 parents will work first session, 2 work second, 2 work third, or whatever kind of like works out between everybody's schedule. And that is a little bit more in depth for a meeting that will happen in August if you guys do decide to join the team, or if your child makes the team. But like I said about those competition meets, our home meets here, no more than 2 spectators, and that's including the working parent. Other meets, it really just depends on the space. And of course, by the time it hits August, that could completely change to where there's no limitations. Typically, places don't put a cap, of course, based on fire safety, there's a cap, but we usually try not to turn anyone away here. I know a lot of other meets do the same.
Yeah, absolutely. It's this whole limitations on spectators, and this is only because of COVID, and the vaccine is here and people are getting them. So hopefully we won't even have to deal with this for the upcoming season, because we know, I know if my kid has a baseball game, the whole family's coming. So we get it, and we sympathize with you guys. It's not the best situation that we've been put in.
Right. Okay. I think Mr. Wellens raised his hand first. Would you like to ask a question?
Yes. So I can see the summer schedule, but I guess my question is, and I don't want to put the cart before the horse, but if the child does make the team, what does the training schedule look like for team participants versus what we're doing now, which is, really 1 class a week?
So
Okay. Go. You want to handle that, Tamara, or you want me
sure,
to?
and I was gonna pull up the payment information as well. So for that Excel bronze level, they pretty much work 4 hours a week on 2 separate days. So right now, currently their schedule is Monday from 4 to 6, as well as Friday from 4 to 6. There is a possibility that could be the same schedule for next year. That typically has been the schedule for them over the past few years. But as far as that schedule, the dead set, that will be given to you guys during the summer if your child does make it. It is, good to go ahead and look ahead. But right now, without knowing who we have joining team, we typically, wait till we've gotten a settled amount of, people on team to say, okay, we definitely will do this particular schedule. So total of 4 hours, 2 times per week. Also, if there is a home meet, we typically set up that Thursday night before, which means that the kids will come in instead of Friday, Thursday, so that they can still have their practice time. And those dates are given out ahead of time as well. Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. Let's see, Miss Mitchell, you had a question?
Yes, yes. If our child makes the
team, what does the fee structure look like?
Okay, I was actually just pulling that up. Give me 2 seconds. Let's see. All right, so you have 2 different sets of fees that you end up paying throughout the year. You've got escrow, which pretty much consists of your competitive fees, and then you've got city fees, which is your training practice fees. So let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, so here are the escrow fees this current year. And this is possible to change, but this current year. The total was 1850. Ended up being $185 a month. And of course, if you choose to break that down differently with Tanya, it would be something different. You will have to have a card on file for us to debit those payments monthly. If you would like to do anything different than the 15th, like I said, you could have a conversation with Miss Tanya LaPlanche. So it looks like it's gonna possibly kick us off in 10 minutes, but we can still, reconvene after that if it kicks us out. But that's the escrow fees. And then you've got the city fees, which is $1250 total. And then monthly $138.89. And again, that is subject to change by year, but it typically stays around those numbers. So, and the same thing with the due date being on the 15th, and if you needed to do something different, to have a conversation with Miss Tanya LaPlanche.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. All right. Do we have any other questions? No? Well,
Wait, so you said that, so the county charges 1,200, and then what was the other fee again? Go back up.
1850.
And this is to to actually be a part of the training team. It's 1850. The other one goes to the county.
Yeah, it's a that's broken up. Mhm.
Miss Denise, you had a question?
Yes, hi. So I came in late. I don't know if it was already answered. How do we know what level and what classes?
So as of right now, everyone will be going to Excel Bronze unless we speak to you off to the side otherwise. But
Okay.
and on here it's listed as training team, but that is the same. That's the same thing. We just finally decided to go ahead and call it Excel Bronze, which again, Excel Bronze is not the same as bronze level classes. It is Excel Bronze is the competitive route for your levels. Bronze level classes are just our names for our classes. Most gyms have a slightly different name for their classes.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Wellens, did you have a question, or was that hand up still from earlier?
My bad.
No, you're good. I'm learning this raise hand feature too, because we don't use it in class. We just blurt out. All right. Well, I at least want to take the opportunity to say all of your girls, we're really excited to have all of them. A lot of them I've probably coached all the way up from novice to silver. So they're working their routines this current session. So again, if you would like to sign up for Tumbleweed Olympics, it is not a physical performance this year. It is a video performance that we're recording the second to last week of class, offering pictures that Friday. And you still get the opportunity to have a leotard, pictures, the video performance that you'll be able to have forever, as well as a gift. So definitely take the opportunity to be a part of that. They're going to learn the routines anyway. We're still going to record them anyway, just for something for them to have if you guys do end up deciding, different by the time registration's closed. And registration for that should close on March the 2nd. Let's see. Right here. Okay, someone said, I'd like to hear from the parents who have been in the program before and they have experienced as the positive and negatives of being a part of the program. So the next meeting, the one that's in April, that's a great opportunity to get to hear from the other parents, to get to ask those questions.
That would actually be in June. June is the April.
Uh-oh, you're breaking up a little bit.
The April 12th meeting is for new parents. The June meeting is for everyone.
So to kind of leeway from that, pickup is also a good time to get to know some of those parents as well. But with COVID, we're kind of in a weird infrastructure where it's just a different environment where you won't get to, have that personal opportunity. Because usually, like I said, this meeting is done directly after classes. I'm standing in front of the bleachers, parents are sitting there, and you get the opportunity to ask whatever questions and get to know the coaches that are working with your child, at least for this session, and get to see the coaches that will work with your child over the summer. But with this setup, it's a little bit harder. So a kind of a testament would also be our social media, to kind of like peek at that. Some of the parents do comment. We've been trying to get a little bit more busy on there, but yeah. Let's see. Well, if we don't have any other questions or comments,
Yeah.
we.
All right. Hey, hey, Tamara.
Hey.
I just want to keep it real short and sweet. I wanted to introduce myself. I just got done coaching, but hi, I'm Coach Ashley. I'm head coach at the College Park Tumbleweeds. I'm really looking forward to working with your girls. I've already worked with some of them with evaluations, and I just see all their potential. So I really hope that you guys just have a great time, and you're going to love working with the College Park Tumbleweeds. And thank you guys for just, sticking with us, through these times. And your girls are going to love being on our team and just working hard, learning new skills. So if you have any other questions or comments or concerns for me, I'm Coach Ashley, and I do offer other classes, private lessons, adult tumbling for children, all that good stuff. So if you just need to inquire with me, you can call the gym and just ask for Coach Ashley. All right.
Well, if you guys think of any other questions, you feel free to email me or stop me at the end of class. The start of class is a little hectic because we're trying to get everybody in, but anytime at the end of class, or email me or call the gym, and we all will be able to help you out with whatever concerns you have. If you have any specific questions that you didn't feel comfortable asking in the mix of all this, but like I said, that April meeting will be a lot more in depth. This was just the opportunity for you guys to get an understanding of like what's happening next as far as your child being invited to possibly be on team. So.
Wait, last question. When is tryouts for this training?
So that's during the summer. So that's that summer practice time.
Oh, that summer practice that we pay sign up. That is when they're going to try out at the end to see if they can make the team in August.
Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. So they're not trying out to be a part of the summer camp.
No, them being in
Okay.
whatever class they were in, that was their tryout to be a part of summer camp. They are trying out to be a part of the team during the summer months of June and July.
Okay. Gotcha.
Let's see. All right, so I'm just answering one last question that someone sent. I definitely will try to save the recording and send it to you guys. Cross our fingers that that works out well. It's one of those things that likes to work when it does. But if we don't have any more questions, you guys are free to go.
Thank you guys for hopping on. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.